Mr. Brown, shouldn't concern about same-sex marriage be allayed or reduced by the fact that no church will be required to marry a same-sex couple? No minister or no rabbi will be required to marry a same-sex couple. Doesn't that allay your concerns?
No, because I think that that's a bit of a red herring and a canard. The real threat isn't that immediately the government is going to say, you have to marry same-sex couples. The real threat is all the ways that public institutions marginalize, for exactly what Maggie Gallagher brought up earlier. How do we treat bigots? What did the federal government do to Bob Jones University? Their C3 status as a nonprofit organization. It was revoked. Why? Because they did something very wrong. They were saying there's no interracial dating at Bob Jones University. If you truly believe that those of us who believe that marriage is the union of a man and a woman are practicing discrimination, then why would you not use the coercive powers of the state on 501c3s, nonprofit organizations, on Catholic charities, adoption agencies, credentialed educational institutions, on and on and on and on?
Well, I think that there's no doubt that the other side has packaged this as a civil rights issue when it clearly is not. It's not a civil rights issue for homosexuals who want to marry. It's a civil rights issue for those of us who believe in the family, and if you have any religious convictions whatsoever. Because what we've seen when you pass same-sex marriage is you got to take the people at their word. They say you're a bigot if you oppose it. Then they're going to treat you like one. They're going to treat the Catholic Church as if it's a group of bigots. If they've said it all along, why would you expect anything different? And that's what we've seen in Massachusetts. The Catholic Church adopted the most difficult to adopt children. It was placing these children for adoption. The homosexual lobby did not care. They said, we don't care about your religious beliefs. We don't care that you're doing great work. All we care about is that you start adopting to same-sex couples. When the Catholic Church said no, no more adoptions for the Catholic Church. This is what will happen. It will affect your religious liberty. It will affect the church. In Canada, the Knights of Columbus being fined for refusing to allow their hall to be used in a same-sex marriage ceremony. Again, it is going to affect us. Ake Green in Sweden, a pastor speaking out from the pulpit about homosexuality, imprisoned and fined. Am I saying that this is going to come around the corner? No, immediately around the corner, something like taking our pastors and putting them in prisons? No. But logically, if you truly believe what the proponents of same-sex marriage are saying and the way that they characterize us, how else would you expect them to treat people that they themselves say are bigots, homophobes, full of hate, and not worthy of civil discussion? I mean, I've seen this time and time again. So, you know, we need to be honest. We need to be honest about what they want and take them at their word.
In any instance I can think of where there is a quasi-public or a public or even a private institution that is a nonprofit that's regulated in some way by the state, there is going to be a direct conflict. And you may say, as some scholars do, that in this conflict, sexual liberty should always trump religious liberty. You may argue that. I profoundly disagree with you. I think it's throwing away our First Amendment rights. But you may say that. But come out and say that. Because the implications of same-sex marriage in jurisdictions that have gone in this direction are quite clear. There is a conflict. There's a conflict of a great magnitude between religious liberty and this new moral narrative we will have the state launching on behalf of same-sex marriage.
You personally feel that homosexuality is intrinsically evil and objectively disordered?
Again, as a Roman Catholic and as someone who believes in the First Amendment, there is a small line that says there shall be no religious tests or qualifications for office. Now, what you're saying isn't a religious test or qualification. I'm not running for office. But the idea that as a Roman Catholic who believes what the Church teaches, I don't have a right to stand up and speak my mind freely and fairly, I think that goes against one of the key foundational principles of this country. So yes, as a Catholic, I believe what the Catholic Church teaches on this, and I respect my Protestant brothers and sisters, everyone here who have their own religious beliefs. But the arguments that I put forward today, I think, are logical and rational arguments on the foundation of marriage. I think people of different faiths and different backgrounds can agree on this. And for those that disagree, that's what this public hearing is about.
I think a lot of times, Catholics especially, we have this idea that, you know, if we go to Holy Eucharist, if we try if we're engaged in our prayer life, if we're doing what we're supposed to do, then that's enough. Those are the most important things, but that's not enough. You have to be involved. I mean, there are decisions that are going to be made at the state and federal level that affect each and every one of us. The Roe versus Wade decision is the most startling and clear decision where, you know, a few years before Roe versus Wade, if we would have rallied together to stop this, I think we could have. I think we're in the same position with same-sex marriage. You know, I think this issue isn't an issue that's going to go away because a few states passed state constitutional amendments. They're going to come back and they're looking for a federal solution. What needs to happen is people need to rise up and get active politically. It doesn't matter, you know, we have busy lives, we have children. You know, I have 4 children of my own, I'm expecting a 5th child. You know, and this is my main job, fighting these fights, and it's still difficult to do this all the time. But that's not an excuse for doing whatever you can do. I mean, it's very simple to write a letter to your state representative. It's very simple to schedule a meeting and take some time to meet with your state representative or state senator. These things are all things that we should be doing, and we really aren't as much as the other side is.
I believe in, you know, respect and the basic human dignity of everyone. So, again, I think that's something else our church teaches: charity, love, respect, and that's what I believe in.
So, labeling people as intrinsically evil and objectively disordered is a respectful thing in your view?
Well, first of all, the church doesn't label people as that. It talks about acts that the church doesn't agree with. That's a very different thing. Okay. So that's a mischaracterization of what the Catholic Church teaches.
Okay, so I'll clarify my statement. So you believe that people who love people of the same sex are intrinsically evil and objectively disordered. That's what you feel?
Of course I don't. I'm not saying that people are individuals. I'm not saying anything like that. But if you want to stand up here and have a show trial on my Catholicism, I'm willing to stand here and sit here and answer questions all day because, again, people fought for the right to be Catholic. People fought for the right to believe what they believe and speak up on those issues. And anyone here who's sitting here, I don't care what religion you are, don't ever be silenced. Don't ever be told, don't speak what you believe. That's what we have to do. That's what I believe in.
Well, it's hard not to be. I mean, we live in a day and age where it's almost Orwellian. You know, the truth has become a lie to most people. And, you know, Orwell said the most revolutionary act one can do is tell the truth when everyone else is living a lie. I mean, at some points it feels like that in certain areas, like in the Capitol, where you have a certain elite that think a certain way, or in the media, you have a certain elite that think a certain way. But you know, Pope John Paul II talked about the new springtime, and there's a lot of good that's happening. And, you know, I would not be so cynical that, you know, when the people have voted directly on this issue, overwhelmingly, they voted time and time again that at least marriage remains the union of a man and a woman. Now, I know things have gotten bad and it's easy to throw up your hands, but we're still at a point where some common sense still prevails in the public. And it just so happens to be that it's the regular folks. It's you know, it's just folks who aren't that involved necessarily in politics, but still understand that kids do best with a mom and a dad. They're the ones that can stop this. So it really has to do with people rising up and getting involved. So ultimately, you know, our immediate success isn't the judge of whether we're doing right or wrong. I mean, just because we're not, you know, passing all the legislation we want doesn't mean we're not right. Someone still has to stand up for truth. We're each and all called to stand up for the truth, whether we're winning or we're losing. So that's what I would say to people. Don't expect a pat on the back and, you know, great, we won this one. That isn't why we do what we do. We do what we do because this is what God wants us to do.